Okay, and I'm going to share my screen. Okay, good. So yes, so we'll continue with the database part. So the other day I created it's all linked. When we touch the database cannot function on its own because not every user can come into a database and store the data. So they need a medium, which is the Java application, which is a Spring Boot. And not every users are a technical guy who can hit the Spring Boot directly using a Postman or thing. So they need the Spring Boot needs a support. That is what it is, HTML. And HTML, we cannot send it directly. HTML needs a browser, and browser needs a system. So that is how it starts. The control starts from the computer keyboard, from keyboard to the CPU, from there to browser, browser to network. From the network protocol, it reaches the server. From the server, it reaches boot, Spring Boot or PHP or .NET, whatever it is. From there, it goes to the database, and finally, after saving the data or after retrieving data, it goes same in the reverse path. So anything, whatever we study, cannot run on its own. It's all teamwork where everything talks with each other. So if today we are learning on like user table, address table, next week we will be learning how to use this table, how to call the table, how to call these columns in the Java application. So that will be there. So for now, I have created one table as users. The users table is going to have active flag, a password column, a user name column, and a user ID column. So the user ID column is, if I go to structure, the user ID is a primary key. There is a yellow color key symbol, and it is an auto increment, which means every row we need not supply the value. The database will automatically increment the value. We have the username, which is a varchar, which can store up to 20 characters, password, which can store up to 30 characters, and is active. It is going to store just a bit. It's going to store like y or n, 1 or 0. So if you see the
Rajesh, here user ID is the primary key, right?
user
In that,
ID is the primary key, correct.
okay.
The same way, we have a address table. The address table, we have the address ID as the primary uh, key. Where is the structure? Address ID is the primary key. Address is the actual address which we type, like number one, all those things. And user ID is the foreign key, which means a reference to the other table is stored in this table, and that is a foreign key.
Okay.
So in this table, in the user table, we have one record with the primary key as 1. In the address table, if I am trying to insert a record, let us say insert. The address ID is a primary key. I'll leave it. The address is the actual address. I'll do address 2. And in the user ID column, I can only select from the user ID which is already there. Let us see preview SQL. I'll copy this SQL, the query, and I'll go here. I'll paste it. Now, instead of this is a user ID, right? First is the address ID. We are giving null because it is an auto increment. Address is the actual address, and user ID foreign key, I'm giving 1. If I give 1, it will work. If I give 2, it will not work because the 2 is not there in the user table. Uh, what happened? Okay. Okay. So execute. Where is the execute query? Go. Okay. Now we see an error. Insert into address cannot add or update a child row. A foreign key constraint fails, meaning you are trying to insert 3 into this address table. For 3 to be inserted, the 3 must be present in the parent table, user ID. In the user table, the record with 3 should be there. Only then we can reference it. So that is what this error is.
Okay.
So if I give 1, because I cannot refer to something which is not there in the first register. The user register, only one user is there. How can I tell in the address that I am user number 3? Then we will ask, okay, your user number 3, where is the user? Where are your details? You don't have it in the user table. So that is what a constraint means. That is the use of the constraint. By mistake, if you are trying to insert a wrong data, the table will not allow you to insert. That is the purpose. So by
That means
mistake,
if you have like any extra value without any
wrong value,
extra column.
not
Okay, wrong.
extra call, extra also will be validated. Let us say we are trying to insert 3 columns here, and the developer by mistake gives here as comma name. Okay, like this it is, he is giving. Instead of name, I'll do Tuesday. If I give like this, by the developer has mistakenly given 4 columns to insert, but only 3 columns are there. So if you run a query like this, it will say column count doesn't match the value count. Column count means this is the column count 3, and these are the values. So value count is 4. So it's telling column count doesn't match the value count. This is one error, but the use of foreign key is to prevent the user from inserting invalid data. If the user is going to enter like 50 is the user ID, in the user table, the 50 itself is not there. Only one user is there. So if a user inserts like this, we cannot be validating. So we leave it to the database. So we have a foreign key where the database validates itself that whether this 50 is already available in the user table or not. If it is available, it will allow. So let us go to the user table and let's try to insert a record as 50 and we'll see. Even though it is also auto insert, auto increment, let us try to give the value 50 manually. Username is password. His active is 1. Let us see. Okay, so 1 row inserted. If I go to the structure, no, not structure, browse the table. Where is the I think I inserted wrongly. Okay, if I go to SQL, select from user, I have 50, yeah. So I have the user ID 1 and manually I inserted 50. Now if I go here and try to run this query, this will work. It got inserted because the primary key 50 is already available in the user table. So database is going to do that check. Every time it is going to insert into a table, it will check all the parent table or the primary key table whether the value is available or not. If it is available, then the database is going to allow the insert of the secondary table. Otherwise, it would not allow. That is the use of the primary key and foreign keys. So a key is a unique value. A primary key is a unique value in a table. A foreign key is a reference to the unique value in other table. So if you see the address table is going to have both primary key and also the foreign key. This is its own primary key. This is the foreign key from other table. Now moving to the next step. So let us insert some data here. So I'll insert, okay, Rajesh is here, address here. Okay, with this, I'll go into query. So how do we select from a query? We have the select star. Star means it is going to select all the columns. The best practice is giving where 1 equal to 1 and give go. So it is going to select all the rows from the users table. Now if I go here, I want to select from the address table. Select start from address where 1 equal to 1. Just always a true condition. You can ignore this and also run. Not an issue. So it is going to give me 3 address values. 2 addresses are associated with user number 1. 1 address is having user number 2, which means this first user is having 2 address. So this query we have executed separately. Select star from users, select star from address. Now we want to join these 2 tables and generate a query. So that we want to see, I'll open up the slide. Okay, so now what I want is, I want to generate a query. I want to see the output in this format. I want to see the user.
Rajesh, I have one question here. The
Yes.
primary key and the foreign key, we are going to get the values from the primary key. That's the use of
Primary key is like an index to a book. You do not go into the book into every single page. By looking at the index itself, you can easily go into that page, right? Whichever topic, wherever it is there. It's a unique, like page number is unique in a page. You cannot have, if you have more than 2, 3 numbers in the same repeating, it will be confusing, right? The purpose of a page number in a book is for us to identify a particular page.
Okay, that
Let
means
us
for
say,
every table we will have like one
correct.
primary key, and we are
Has,
going to.
it has to be unique. It cannot repeat. Primary key can never repeat. That is why we give it as an auto increment. And if you give as a primary key, it has to be unique, and it will be it is a non-duplicating number, because a book cannot have multiple page number. If it
Okay.
has multiple page number, it is a printing mistake. So if a table has more than one row with the same primary key, it's a data issue.
Okay.
What is the reason we have a book number? For us to identify a topic. Let us say I am asking you, where is the HTML code? In which page it is given? You will tell that, okay, go to page number 120. You can see that syntax. So I'll go to 120. If there are multiple 120s, I don't know which 120 I have to go. And if I
Okay.
don't have a 120, if I don't have a page number printed, how do I go? I have to manually count 120, right? You would have counted manually 1, 2, 3 page numbers, and in your memory you would have had like, okay, 100 pages. If you don't remember the page number, you will tell me, okay, go like approximately go to 100 pages. I don't know exactly, but you go like starting few pages, you leave it, then you go. Something you will be telling me. To avoid these things, we have a page number.
Okay.
The same way in database, to make the rows clearly identify for the program, not for us. Primary key is not for us. It is for the program to identify. Of course, we'll use the primary key, but mainly it is for the program to understand and reference.
Rajesh, and one more thing, for every column, sorry, for every row, what we are mentioning in a table, if you want like 3 or 4 or more primary keys, we can include, right? Here,
No,
address ID is the.
Key will always be only one.
In a table.
Yes.
Okay. That means this primary key is going to address the whole table. That's what we're telling, right?
That row.
That
Every
row.
row will have one particular number assigned. So if I'm going to browse this table, this row, the first row you see, number 26 is the address, right? This is stored as a reference 2. This is stored as reference 5. This is stored as reference 7. This is like page number 2, 5, and 7.
That means, Rajesh, in table 1, if you want, could you please go to the table, in the primary key table?
Yes.
I
This
can't
is
see the primary key here.
this is the user table. This is the
Okay.
primary key. There is, see here,
Okay.
user ID.
Okay, you kept user ID, the whole user ID, the column as the primary key. You kept like
Yeah.
that?
Yes.
Okay, I got you. I thought only for one row, not for
Oh, no,
one
no,
row.
no. That column is a primary key.
Okay, that column is a primary key. Okay, now I
So,
got you.
yes.
Okay, it's clear.
The same way, every table will have one column as primary key.
Okay.
Foreign key is optional. It is not mandatory, but if you keep the foreign key, it is easy to maintain. Without foreign key, it will be a nightmare. So, and data will be duplicated. If I don't have a foreign key here, for every row of address, I have to give, this is Rajesh, this is like Ram, whatever name I have to give, I have to here repeating will be. So we use the foreign key. Now I want to output user ID, username. Only these two columns I want to output. So what I will do, I will give here select star. Now select user ID. So I'll give select star from T001 users. Now instead of star will give me all the columns. I want to display only the user ID, comma, username from the user table. If I run this query, I get an error, unknown column user ID, because the user, it must be user underscore ID. Yeah. So I'll change this. So this is a select query where you want to retrieve only specific columns. So this is giving me only two columns. You forget about this edit, copy, and delete. Maybe I'll see how to hide it. I don't know. It is an inbuilt. Okay. So only two columns is coming. I didn't select the password. I didn't select the is active. So using the select statement, specifically we can select two columns. Now I want to select user ID, username, and his address. This case, I want to join two tables. What are the tables? T001 user table and T002 address table. So I want to join these two tables and bring out these three values. Address is not there in the user table, right? So I have this query. Where is the query? Okay, select user ID, comma, username from users. Now along with this, I want to bring the address. Why there is an issue? Expecting I deleted or something. Mistake.
Now we are going to join two tables, right?
Yes. To join two tables, we use the primary key and foreign key. So I can select as address. What is the address in this table? Address. If I run this query, it is going to throw me error that this address column is not there in this user table. Unknown column address in the field list. Then from the list what we are trying to fetch, I don't have an address column. So we tell from user comma T002 address. You join these two tables, and we'll temporarily keep a name for this table as user. User is a keyword. I'll give as u. We call it as alias, table alias, and we have a. Now where u dot user id equal to a dot user id fk. So I am telling that this column in the address table user underscore id underscore fk, this column and this the primary key column in user table user underscore id, both are equal. So you link these two tables with this column and find me all the user name and address. If I go to run this, see here, it has brought it nicely. It is bringing me user id 1, his name is Rajesh, and his address in the address table is 26. User id 1, again he is Rajesh, his address in the address table is 2, and there is one more user as 50. His name is RS and his address is also 2. If we go to the address table and check whether the data is correct, yes, we have 3 address. 2 address are linking to the one user. The other address is linked to a new user. Let us say I'll edit this address of